What's going on, everybody? This is Roster, and you're listening to The Misfit Effect. And of course, I'm joined with my wonderful co-host, the lovely Sarah Lace.
Hey, thank you. I am happy to be back for another episode of the Misfit Effects. Of course, you guys know what I'm always up to. Today, I'm actually doing a photo shoot, so that's why I'm not at home. But I still wanted to take the time out of my day to come and chat with our awesome, this time it's actually a male adult performer by the name of Nicky Rebel.
Hey, how's it going?
So, Nikki, please, for the unfortunate humans out there who don't know who are you?
Wait, people don't know who I am?
Hey,
In case
it's
you
like
don't,
it's like it's some random guy in North Dakota that's just sitting back.
That random guy in North Dakota, he knows me. What are you talking about? I know that guy. We're
that's
buddies.
Oh my God. No, for real, like for those people who don't know who you are yet, like who are you? Like how would you describe Nicky Rebel?
All right. Who am I? Wow, it's a very deep metaphysical question right there. Ah, didn't know we were getting existential on this podcast. Um, who am I? I am model, porn star, director, content creator, advocate, agent, mentor, writer, photographer. I think I covered the bulk of it.
So you're a jack of all trades.
Yeah, I'm pretty. I cover. I think. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I consider myself an island. I'm a one-stop shop of everything in the industry. Wearing it.
okay. Yeah. And how was it that you started in the industry? What was the first gig you did?
I started a little over 8 years ago now.
Ooh.
Yeah, I started over 8 years ago. It's been over 10 years. I have been involved in sex work in one way or another.
Mhm.
Form of fetish modeling, fine art,
Yeah.
dances for dancing for private parties. So that's been about the better part of the decade. So
Okay. That's pretty awesome. And what has been your like genuine most favorite part of the adult industry? Not necessarily a specific job or whatever, but was there a specific moment that had you be like, this is exactly why I wanted to do this?
ooh, oh man,
Right? Hit
see,
with
like
the
I
hard
get a lot of those.
questions right
I
away.
get a lot of those little moments.
Absolutely.
When you're doing this as long as I've been doing it, it's you ask like, what can you give us a moment like it's been a long time now.
Mm-hmm.
Been a minute. And, it's interesting because throughout the span of my career, it's always kind of it very much is like act, different
Mm-hmm.
acts of my career. So uh like act one would have been like New York. I was working
Yeah.
in New York, I was living in New York, I was born and raised from. So
Mm-hmm.
that'd be act one. And like act two would have been like me, traveling the country and working in LA there for a little bit. 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. I'm in like my fucking seventh act. Like people are like, oh, third act, second act. Like I'm
Yeah.
my seventh act. Like this play ain't ending anytime soon.
Honestly, I feel like that in a good way because it's like, especially with this kind of industry, things are always new. Like,
Yeah.
we're not going to
Oh
be
yeah.
doing the same exact thing every single day from year one to year 20.
Yeah.
It's
No, it's
And
always
you know
gonna
what? It
be
always feel
different. It's
like
always
always
evolving.
you're reinventing yourself each time because like every
Mm.
time, like every year is a whole different
chapter of
mindset.
your life.
When people like, cause like I always say, yo, people come in, they stay in for like 2, 3 years, then they disappear. You never hear from them again, and it's a whole new draft class that comes in. So it's a whole
Oh
bunch of
yeah.
just new things or new experiences. And like you, as like you say, you're a director and you're an agent and stuff like that. It's a whole bunch of different humans that have different that are open to different things, or they give the same flavor as some other people who aren't here anymore. They're different. I mean, they're not the same human, but they're similar enough that you can say, I can see blah blah in this person, you know?
Yeah,
Hmm.
Yeah,
absolutely.
because I've been in since I've been doing stuff around the industry since
Mhm.
'08. So I just stand back and just look at all the variety of changes, and some good, some bad, some, oh my God, why? You know.
Yeah. Essentially, I just think of it as the evolution of porn,
Oh,
because
and it's evolved so much, and like
mm,
especially like we could get into the whole OnlyFans boom during quarantine, how that's completely reshaped the industry. But we don't
absolutely.
need to go. We don't need to get
No,
into that.
I was
I
I
mean,
I
we
think,
was
might.
I was telling someone like a few days ago because they're newer, and we were telling them like I remember a time where like just the testing itself used to be
mhm.
like a month test, and now it's 14 days, and now it's talk for 7 days. I'm like, I've seen that little evolution in my little stint around this industry,
Mhm.
you know. So it's
Yeah, I think when I got started, they just started phasing out the 30-day tests.
yeah, and that was I
Honestly,
think that
yeah,
was I think
because
that was
like
2013. Yeah,
I started a
Oh,
year
2013.
you. I started a year after you, and I heard people saying it like, "Yo, don't you remember the days like when it was 30 days, this and that? Don't you remember when they changed it?" And I was like, I'm a little too new, but like I feel you, like so I do remember that when we were first, because we did start around the same time, but I feel like when we were first starting, there was more people talking about it, that nostalgia of like, hey, you remember when it was 30 days versus 14? Like, this is costing us double.
like I rem
Yeah, I
like
think it was. I'm trying to remember. It was like 2017, summer 2017. I think maybe was when I
Yeah.
had my first paid boy girl shoot. I think. I think it
Wait,
was
me
summer
too.
20.
Has
Huh?
it been 8 years? I thought it was 7.
It's been a little over 8 years as of past August for me.
Hmm.
As far as my first paid shoot, so paid
Yeah,
triple X photo.
maybe I've been saying the years wrong, but I started like the summer of 2017 as well.
Oh, word. Okay.
So as far as porn star age, we're the same age.
Yeah, we are. We're fucking old.
Hey, you know what? You're not wrong, because versus the newbies who are like, oh yeah, I just started a year, 2 years in, we have this whole different mindset of like, hey, we've been in here for 7 years, so we've been around the
Let me
block.
tell you a little some kiddo. Sit down on my lap, on my knee. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. You
what
like
messed
versus
what
being
messed me
just
up
trend.
is, as I said earlier, I started like around like oh wait doing little stuff here and there. I met somebody who was born in 2005 that just joined the industry, and I'm thinking in my head, that's just 3 years removed from when I actually started doing stuff. That's making me feel so old.
Yeah,
Like,
we're like freaking antiques over here.
Exactly,
so question, since you've been around for so long, I always ask one this, and I get a kick out of it. What is the either the funniest or the craziest thing that you believe has happened to you on a porn set
or you
Ooh.
may not have happened to you, but you may have witnessed it on set.
that you can share that's, you know, that's not, you know,
That's not This is why we say funny or interesting.
funny or interesting, not, you know,
Hang on one.
okay.
Should I talk?
Sorry about that. Okay. Oof. Craziest thing that happened in
Mhm.
industry. Hmm. Ooh.
What's the first thing that comes to your head? Because the way that it looks like there's
Funny.
a
Oh, we're going funniest. We're going funniest, not craziest.
You
Okay.
can do either or. Like I always say
Funniest.
funny. I always say funniest because a lot of funny things have happened to a lot of people. Because I remember someone said they were doing a thing with milk before, and stuff just came out of crevices and got their nose or whatever, or they got into a I don't know, just funny, crazy, whatever you want to say. It's up to you. You're the star
Well,
right now.
crazy would be my first fucking shoot.
Ooh, so it started off memorable.
Oh my god, you have no idea.
Tell us more.
I call it failing up. You get fucked over a lot of times, but you keep moving up. It's like failing up. My first shoot, I was booked for 3 scenes, maybe four, no, three.
In a day?
And no, in a
Oh,
week.
I was,
So
I was
like
gonna
one
say in a
company
day.
booked me.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
Please, I've
I
done
was like, that
triples.
is
I do
almost
triples every now and then. I don't like doing triples, but I do them.
impossible.
Okay, so my first booking, and throughout the 3 shoots, there would be two different girls I'd be working with. So like one girl one day, um, one the same girl a different day, but another day is like two girls. So that girl and a different.
Okay.
And so there was this one model I had a boy girl scene and a boy girl scene, along with
Mm-hmm.
the threesome scene. And before the shoot started, when I'm already in the hotel that they put me up in, tested, ready to go, I get word from my agent that one of the models, of whom was with a different agent, had
Mm-hmm.
a private session, and the individual that she had a private with had
Mm-hmm.
tested positive for chlamydia.
Oh,
She's still within her 14 days, but within that time, she's worked with him, and now he's positive for chlamydia. And they went on to say that, listen, you don't have to work with her, and no one's gonna fault you for it. But if you do, you can try to get a hold of, get you on all of y'all on antibiotics, and no fuss, no muss.
Yeah.
hmm.
I mean, as long as that shit's all provided, it's not the end of the world. It's chlamydia.
Yeah, but
But
it's like, oh my God, like this is my first one.
like
I
wow, like
don't, I don't.
right out the gate.
Yeah. Honestly, they played you with that one. But like, because
I mean,
now we really are like really big about like testing, about like being clean,
mm,
you want to call it. But I kind of feel like they just wanted to try you, like be like,
I
hey,
don't know.
can we just get our
Honestly, they
feelings
played
out for
her
this?
worse. They
No, I
played
can.
her worse. No,
I
I'm
mean,
gonna tell you, there's more to this story. There's
okay,
like it gets way juicier. Like this is nothing. This is just exposition, please. Come on,
yeah.
if my
Please
story, if
do not
if
tell.
I get this animated and this is as awesome as my story gets, then
Hmm.
I'm fucking boring. All right.
See,
No,
I thought
Um,
it was gonna be like, oh, this chick fell off a sex swing or something like funny like that. I didn't think we were gonna get serious right off the bat.
no, this is some tea, a little bit of tea, just a little bit. Like I don't need to
Absolutely.
name names, but
they don't
it's
have names.
tea,
Yeah.
and
Hey,
it's
let's
getting
get
spilled.
tea, baby.
So fuck, I agreed because I fucking need. I literally traveled across the country. You
Yeah,
know,
it's your
and
first time.
I'm still trying. Still trying to travel. I'm halfway across the country, so I still have another half to go. So I need
Mm-hmm.
these shoots. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but uh, there I am in the hotel. I've agreed, and it's the following day, and the shoots haven't happened. But that model is in the hotel room with me because like she couldn't find her hotel room, and she like had some of her shit in my room. And I tell her, so when who are you gonna get the antibiotics from? And then she said, wait, what? And then it became clear that I just dropped a bomb because I knew, my agent knew, her agent knew, the guy she worked with knew, but the producers knew, but you know who didn't know?
Oh, oh my God.
She didn't fucking know.
Ooh, what?
Ooh,
Like I know there's this whole entire thing about informed consent, but at the end of the day, when it's your body, like if it's your body that has that either positive or negative test, like why aren't you the first one informed? Like why didn't they tell her first
right.
before everybody else?
Yeah, it doesn't make wow. Cause
Because
like
So the
like
next hour was her in the bathroom on the phone, crying and yelling at her agent.
yeah, no, I would understand that. I would absolutely
yeah,
call
because
you guys.
it just makes it seem like everybody's talking behind her back, you
Yeah.
know, saying, well, she got this, whatever, and like, and if she's if she's a performer, it's like, you want to be clean no matter what. You don't want, you don't want to be the known as a mass spreader. You want to be saying like, hey, like this happens, stuff happens, and
Mhm.
I I took care of it, instead of being patient X.
Because
Yeah.
at least for me, for example, if or when it ever happens, I would personally go as literally as soon as I get off the call with whatever testing
Hmm.
facility tells me I tested positive, I would go and call everyone who has been around me within that 14-day test, probably even a 30-day test, and be like, hey, just so you know, this is what I got. So you can go and get checked. But that just sounded very irresponsible of them.
Oh yeah. So
Absolutely.
I mean, I went on my own accord to get antibiotics, but it wasn't even because of the possible chlamydia.
Mm-hmm,
So it was like after all those shoots were all wrapped up, and I went like another couple states further.
mm-hmm.
And so one morning I wake up and I can hardly fucking breathe. Like it was bad. So I'm like, oh shit, this must be the chlamydia. So I immediately go to like the nearest urgent care,
Mm-hmm.
whatever, like a Quest lab or something, and I had myself checked out, and they went old school. I don't even know why they went old school because they had weren't going old school like that for years already. But we're talking about the guy did a dick swab on me. Like the guy put a little swab in my pee hole
Oh,
for,
they
for the
do that in
testing.
Europe,
Yeah,
from what I've heard.
I've I've been
They're doing that. Wait, what?
I've had
That
a
that's from what
catheter.
I've heard. They do it in Europe. From what I heard, I
Oh
don't
yeah, maybe, but they don't do that shit here. So that
I've
was.
never been there, but I
Well,
heard
I
that's
didn't know better
everywhere.
anyway.
I know, like
I think the doctor just wanted to swab my wiener.
I've had a catheter put into like through the hole. Like
Oh yeah, so
anything
fun.
that's going inside the pee hole, like it.
Hmm.
Oh my God! Like you don't
No,
have this
it's
issue,
horrible.
Sarah. Like Sarah, the thing is, it's like even if like you like sometimes like, we pee too fast and it comes back up a little bit, it bothers us. So imagine an object. Oh my God! I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah,
mine.
no fun.
I've actually known a few nurses who kind of not necessarily do porn on the side, but they kind of do a little bit of doming on the side. So they
Oh yeah,
do.
the urethral sounding.
Yes, exactly.
No,
I was about to say.
not
So
for me.
they do have their nursing certification, so we know that they know what they're doing. But they talk about how there's these guys here and there that genuinely love it. Sometimes they
Yeah.
get the experience of a catheter and they kind of feel that tabooness of it, and they're
I
like, you know
mean,
what, I want to be filled up too.
I'm gonna say this. I don't kink shame. I would never kink shame, but
no, no, I mean, more power
Jesus
to them.
Christ,
I mean,
Jesus,
I can
Jesus
see that as being
Christ.
really hot, but I can't put sex.
No,
Yeah,
like
Too squeamish about that.
don't.
anything that causes pain to the penis, I
Yeah, that's
can't do.
yeah.
Like
I can't do the cock and ball torture.
if you want to smack me around, cool. I don't no worries. But this is the no pain zone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to an extent, it's still like an extension of BDSM. So maybe these guys realize, like maybe even before this, they already had those kinks where they liked the pain of it. Then they go and have a hospital procedure where they need a catheter, and they're like, "Oh, this is a different level of pain. Let's try it in our sex
I
life."
I felt it once and
And
when they
honestly, there was like an old video I saw like so long ago. I don't even find it ever again. And There was a guy and a girl. They were in a 69 position, and the camera was basically aimed from like below the guy, so from the guy's like down his feet or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so you're basically just getting like straight up blow job right in that
Yeah.
shot, right? But then the girl takes this skinny dildo, like white
Mm-hmm.
dildo, out, and she starts fucking the guy's dick hole with it, and then he comes like a lot, like not just a lot, like a really crazy. But
Yeah.
if I recall correctly, I feel like there was also a little bit of a pink tint to that comment, which was really disturbing. But
Ooh, yeah.
beyond that, but beyond that,
Hmm.
that little clip has remained rent free in my brain. I mean, part of it, I find like it's really hot, it's really erotic. But when you take into account the sensation, the process
Yeah,
of getting to that point, it's just no.
absolutely. Like for
I've seen
example,
him shiver a little bit. Yeah, like
no,
Yeah,
I think
but for example, even I watch porn that is more kinky than I am. Like for example, I'm just gonna throw this out there. For an example, I will watch like gangbangs and we'll go with TAPs, like that kind of stuff, some really kinky shit. But I have never done that. I'm not saying I don't plan on doing that, but I'm like, I'm not there yet. But sometimes you still want to see those kinky things and see that tabooness of it. And in a sense, like when you're detached from it, when you're just masturbating to it versus being in that moment, you're just sitting there like, whoa, that would
yeah. But
feel like
I think
extra sensation on me. That sounds cool. That seems cool. But then you get that like post nut clarity, and then you're thinking, like, huh, I don't know if I would put myself in that position unless I'm a certain level of horniness.
I think that takes a very certain level of sexual maturity to be able to recognize that, to understand like that you can be aroused and interested in something that you otherwise are not interested personally in doing. That like you can make that line in the sand for yourself because
Mm-hmm.
you acknowledge that that line exists,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
a lot of people they have these fantasies or fetishes, and they feel that because that exists as a fantasy or fetish, that that's something that they ought to consider actually pursuing, and that's
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times they end up very upset,
Mm-hmm.
conflicted, traumatized. So I think that takes a lot of maturity to be able to recognize that, and I don't think a lot of people have, to be totally honest. But
Yeah,
I
I feel
just wanted to,
like not everyone
but
can.
like, but let's digress a little bit, just like a little bit, to the story. So I ended up, at the clinic. I got myself tested. I got antibiotics, and then I touched base with the model about a week later. I asked her how she's doing. She's like, "Yeah, shit, I got it. I have chlamydia." And then I get a call from my brother was getting the mail for me, and he says like, "Hey, so you got like something from this urgent care?" Like, oh, okay, so what does it say? Blah, 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 negative. Like, huh. So what was all this? I honestly still don't know what all that was, but
it
I
could,
have two theories.
It could
I
be
have
your
two
lymph
theories.
nodes.
I don't
Not,
know. I
not
have
to
two
like a
theories, and
doctor, but
this is all I have to go by. So when this happened, shortly before then, I was doing a lot of dabs for dab rigs. I was staying over at my buddies in Colorado.
oh yeah.
So maybe I just got like too much resin stuck. Or second theory is that the anal scene I had with this model, evidently she was pissed at her agent or at the production because they didn't negotiate a higher rate for anal, which is really stupid. Um,
Yeah,
so
they
she
do.
decided not, yeah, so she decided not to prep at all. So like on the onset, I had to toss that salad. On the
Yeah.
outset, every time I put my dick in, out, stuck out his thumb, he pulled out a plum over and over again.
Yeah.
Um, She
Ugh.
even brought wifey because she was expecting.
Okay, one big thing. I can understand if you're upset at your agent and you don't
Right.
want to do the thing, whatever, but why would you take it out on the talent?
Right?
Exactly. Like the performance is
What did
nothing.
I do?
Sometimes you don't even get the performer's name until like day of. I know that happens with me where sometimes they'll give me the call sheet a day or two before and then I show up and it's a completely different talent. So you can't
Yeah,
necessarily blame the talent, like at that
I
point
know.
you
But
still said yes, show up and do your job.
Hmm.
one other
That's how I
thing,
think of it is like if you don't want it, say no. This
one
like
other thing that I can
it's
say,
very strong on consent.
one other thing that I can say though is like whenever you do something with somebody and you hear something negative and you go get tested for it, every little thing in the world feels like it happens to you. Like if you like if you like say, okay, I'm gonna go test for this. All the symptoms in the world feel like it's happening at one time, even
Oh
though
yeah, for
it's
sure.
all mental. So it could be just a mental thing too. Just like
I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if she gave me like a bacterial infection from tossing that
he could
salad.
have did
You
that
know,
though too. That
I
was
will
just
say
right?
though that does happen if you don't clean out your bong water or dab water. If you don't
Mm.
clean out the water in your dab rig or bong rig, then basically it really like builds up a lot of bacteria. So
Well,
I've done
you see, it wasn't my dab break, so could have been.
Yeah, I'll call this a science experiment. It was really like I forgot to empty out my bong water before I went on a 2 week trip. And I came back and there was like a little, I kid you not, it almost looks like a jellyfish. There was genuinely a little like mold floating around in there. It was just
That's
like
disgusting.
white, clearish. So I kid you not, there is bacteria in your bong water. You need to clean it out. Technically, people say to avoid that, you're supposed to rinse it out like every day. But I tell people
Mm.
honestly, at least once or twice a week. Every 3 or 4 days, go ahead and clean your water because that bacteria will affect your throat and your lymph nodes especially.
That makes sense.
on a
Yeah,
Yeah,
side
it
note.
probably was that motherfucker's dab rig. Yeah, you're probably
yeah.
right.
Like not to sound gross. This is what I'm saying. Like I just
But it
went
sounds funner thinking that I got it
saw
from
it,
eating
but
ass.
Yeah.
it happened.
It sounds funner saying I got it from eating
No, exactly,
See?
exactly.
And that's why I don't eat the
I'd
booty.
rather say I got it from eating ass. Like, please, like, I'd rather
Eating the
not say I got it from my dad rig.
it. During anal scenes. Like I'm not one. I'm not a big fan of eating ass. It's not my forte.
Hmm.
I know it is for like some performers, and
Hmm.
dude, like how you're fucking green flag. I respect you, but during an anal scene, I'll eat ass, but in reality, it's really just to like test the waters. Like, how stinky is it gonna be getting? How clean is she before I go in?
I know I get
So,
you.
like,
That's kind of
so
how
first
I
we start with a little finger, like little, and then you're like, oh, it's clean. Okay, so now I can just kind of get in,
exactly. You're
make
testing
a good scene.
it out first. I feel you. Now, I feel you.
Yeah.
Me in general, I'm not really into ass eating. Like that's like I know that this is this whole thing where people just love it, but I'm like honestly, even getting my ass eaten, I'm not so crazy about it because obviously my clit has a lot more nerve endings than my booty hole does. So I want you
Mhm.
to swirl that tongue around my clit,
Oh
not around
yeah.
my
Oh
booty hole.
yeah.
That's how me personally I think about it. So I'm going down on someone else and I'm like, I hope you're genuinely enjoying this. Because if not, it's just for show. So
Hmm.
sometimes I get too much in my head. Like I hope you're actually liking me going down on you back there, because I would rather be eating the pussy or eating like sucking on a cock. I'd rather
Yeah,
be
like I
knowing
love
what
eating
the nerve
pussy.
endings are.
Like
oh,
I love eating pussy, especially in my scenes, and it always like kind of breaks my heart a little when the girl's like, "Oh, getting my pussy eaten doesn't do anything."
Yeah, I'm like
oh,
Mm.
the shirt I'm wearing right now, it just says
literally says
it says
I
I eat pussy.
Yeah, his shirt literally says that. But it's like I love going down on a person knowing that I'm giving them pleasure. And I feel like
Yeah.
going down on them, like eating their ass, isn't going to, at least in my head, is not going to bring them as much pleasure as if I was sucking on their cock or they're eating their pussy out, you
Well,
know?
Well, I would
I do know a
grant.
few people. I know a few folks who really like getting their boot. Like I won't do it, but I know people like people who love getting their booty eaten more than getting like fellatio or cunnilingus. It's like
Yeah.
okay,
No,
Yeah,
like I know people who prefer anal over vaginal. Like it
yeah,
exists.
well I know a
exactly.
lot of
I
girls. I know a
understand
lot of
that.
girls
It,
who prefer getting it in the butt than getting it in the vagina, and to each
mhm.
his own, whatever. And that's why like literally like somebody was at my home yesterday because we were supposed to like I had a really big like 16-inch anal dildo at my house that was unused, and someone came by and got it yesterday, and I'm like, like I
You're
know
like,
how
that's a
like
lot. That's
she's 5'3", and
oh my god.
the thing is
That's like
yeah you see the big black one
You-
that was at my house,
that's
Sarah.
like from like my torso to up here. That's how I think of it.
Like Sarah, you seen the big black one I had at the house, the one
Yeah.
skinny. That's the one she took.
Oh, that one's big. No,
Yes.
that one doesn't even feel skinny. That like once you look at the length, you're like, oh baby, where are you supposed to go?
like,
For real.
well,
You know that girl, that TikTok with the ruler, how she was like, yo, y'all talking about taking 12 inches, but y'all see this is how
oh,
big it
I saw that. Yeah,
is. Yeah. Usually
like
when
just
people,
yesterday, I think I saw that.
yeah, when people are like talking about that, that's what I think of. How she's like, y'all be talking about 12. Look, this is 5, this is 6. That is
People
more than
literally don't know
like,
sizes. Yeah, it's crazy. People
absolutely.
will throw around like they're this many inches all the time. Like, have you looked at a room with because you ain't 10 inches.
Exactly.
You're like
Exactly.
a solid 8.
Mhm. And even then, guys who are a solid will say 7 or 8. They think, oh, I'm just an average, whatever. And I'm like, no,
Well,
you're not.
and some people don't
Technically,
know how to use a
average is
ruler.
5.
Like I
Technically,
straight up measured
7.
myself recently. I was like, okay, like I wasn't at my peak, but okay, that's a solid 7. Like, so I'm at least there. All right, cool.
Yeah.
So like I actually know, but like all these other guys going around like, oh, I'm freaking 12 inches. Like that's hard. That's scary. Are you sure? I know one guy who's like 13 inches. Huge.
Oh, no,
He's
thank you.
known for it. He's known for being like the
It's like dread
I
size.
want to.
So
Right?
yeah.
No, it's a fucking Brickzilla.
Oh
Right?
yeah. Brick is huge. Yeah,
And that's
that's
13.
Right?
That's an inch over. So like when you hear guys saying they're 10 inches, like you're not that. Shut the
yeah,
fuck up.
brick is kind of scary.
Like like set him up next to any other guy who's big, like particularly big in the industry, and usually Brickzilla is still gonna be larger. So like, don't fucking tell me, you're homeboy, that you're fucking 10 inches. You ain't that close to me. I'm
And
sorry. You're
the thing is like they say, well, I can do porn because I'm 10 inches, and they don't understand like it takes much more than the size of what you are to work in the industry, and then you say, oh, I can do this. I've had sex before, and they don't understand it's a freaking art.
so like I measured myself, and understand I also do a lot of group scenes, and
Hmm.
believe it or not, most of the guys are either the same length or just like an inch or two more, like at most. Like, and the only reason that they at times look bigger than me is because they're thicker. It's not length.
Yeah,
So like we need to get length out of the fucking equation. Like, because really, the length you're gonna find across the board with male performers is gonna be between 6 inches to like, and once you pass 10 inches, it gets way more fucking rare. So like to
yeah,
13, and it's no, but like we're talking a lot are between 6 inches to like 8.5. That's
yeah.
like the main guy. So
I don't know what all Sarah has taken, in the industry, but I like, I,
Inches. I've gone from really small to really big. Like it genuinely varies, and it's not like it varying from my like abilities. It really just varies from day to day. Because I,
Right, and also girth,
yeah,
because that's the
absolutely.
fucking thing. Because
I
I'm
have
told I have boyfriend bits, so
as
I'm proud of it.
I'll say as small as maybe like 3 inches. I'm gonna
That's
guess. Like
probably pretty good.
like
No
this
offense to you three
is
instruments,
not
but hey,
saying this in a
there's
different.
SPH for y'all.
Yeah,
So
this is just saying it like in a genuine way. Basically, it was a cock I couldn't deep throat because it didn't go that far.
oh,
Like, I'm not trying, I'm honestly not trying to be mean. This is just what it was. But, like, yeah, we've, like, as
not even a tickle to your tonsils?
done, we've done all kinds of sizes. I've done that small. I think the biggest was 13, maybe 14. That's definitely a lot.
Probably.
I'll say honestly, obviously, the smaller cocks are easier days.
Hmm.
But to an extent, you still have to watch what you say, because
Right.
it's not always about SPH. It's not always about that small
No, no, yeah.
relationship.
Yeah,
Sometimes,
you don't want the guy to take it out and you'd be like, that's it?
yeah, sometimes it's actually about a praise worship. Like, oh my God, baby, even though your cock is full, that's so amazing. Let me take that, whatever. Like, I'm just saying this in that genuine way where
I'm
it's
so like people, the world is so lucky that I'm not a girl. Because like, I wouldn't, I, I don't think I'd be that nice.
yeah. Well, mind you, the world is very versatile. So there are some moments where they want you to be mean and actually talk down and give them that humiliation. But there's others that is like, hey, let's talk about these small cocks in a positive
I
note.
never, I'm gonna be honest with you, because like since I used to edit a lot more back in the day, like the first time someone had me edit their SDH video or
SPH.
huh? Well,
Penis,
SPH.
SPH,
dick,
their
same
SPH
shit.
video, it was kind of like this is different,
Yeah.
cause like I don't know, like if I was small, like I was 1 inch, it'd be like I would feel insulted, but people like
Yeah.
that, and it's different to me.
Mm,
Because I'm not going
well,
to
see,
say
for
that
me, it's
it's
not
clean,
because
but
my wife's a dom.
Mhm.
So
like,
like my wife's a dom, so like I've seen her do a lot of SPH stuff,
hmm,
and like I've actually learned a lot from her. Like I've been hired to like do like some SPH and JOI stuff in the past, and
hmm.
like I I look back at some of the footage sometimes. I'm so proud of myself. Like I'm such like I've learned so well from my wife, and I love my wife. Like I love when I can see her influence and how like I've learned from her.
Hmm.
Um, so when I see myself even using some of the words that I picked up from her, I'm like, yeah, I know what I'm doing because I watch her because she knows what she's doing. And then it's like I'm only more inspired by her because like she knows what she's doing.
Yeah,
You
I
know.
can see that for sure.
So like I really like sometimes doing the SPH thing. I fall into it very easily, which is kind of funny because I get booked a lot of times as like that guy who's like taking for like oh my god like oh my mom's touching my penis this shouldn't happen are
I
you sure this is a
know
good
that
idea
whole role play thing.
It's good.
like when I can just be like a fucking nasty asshole it's like I'm in
Hmm,
it
I
Um,
feel you.
but so
so
like that's why it's like it's probably better off that I because I oh and I'd play the Karen card so fast I know I would I'd do it all the time.
I think I think I think because as males we know like what some of the girls we've been with want or prefer. And then if we look at another a gentleman like who's a lot smarter, it's kind of like, ah, I don't understand how you would feel like for the humiliation part. But to each his own. And like since I'm a sub, so there's a lot of stuff that I enjoy from that, but that's one thing that I don't think that
I
I would
would
get
not
happy
have
about.
I would not have pegged you into being.
Oh no, I
Sorry, I
am
love that
Let's
choice
say
of
that,
words.
but no,
Pun entirely
true
intended.
love, through and
I
through.
I
Through and
am
through, I tell you.
I am the subbiest of subs over here. And
Really?
Yes,
yeah.
yes,
And
absolutely.
some people who know me really well after a while can say, yeah, I see it. But
Mm.
people who know me for a short time, like, I wouldn't have guessed that.
I'm like, huh?
Because like I was like it's a
But you're not like
video.
the whole degradee sort of stuff. You don't like
Oh
the
no,
full
like
degrading.
my
Yeah.
I did my BDSM test
Mhm,
online to see where I placed that. And
mhm,
I'm gonna see if I can find it really quick. Like
So you like a
100,
worshiper?
100, like this is from 321 2024. This is about this year in March. 100% degrading, 100% misogynist, 100% voyeur. I'm sorry, rope buddy. 98%
mhm.
voyeur, 97% submissive, 93% slave, 83% brat.
So you're saying that is inaccurate or is accurate?
Oh,
It
that's
is
Are
accurate
you
as heck.
degrading?
The
So
only,
you
the
are
only,
just a degrading.
the only thing I disagree with on this entire thing is this thing that says 1%. I believe that is 0% because I don't like that
Oh.
at
He's
any
like,
capacity.
no, not at
Now you
Yeah,
need to tell us what that is.
a daddy mommy.
Okay.
Like
Yeah, he
I don't
doesn't do that whole mommy kink at all.
I don't like being like it's still it's along the lines of age play. I don't like, like
Hmm.
because age play on here is 0%.
Mm,
So that whole
yeah.
daddy mommy thing, I think should be a 0% too.
Hmm.
That's the only thing the only thing
For
that
real.
like my dominant on here is 16%. So yeah, I'm the ah
See, I
yeah.
gotta do a live one of these days and just take the test on cam while I'm streaming and just see my results front and center. Cause like I don't know if I'm more sub than dom, but I think I'm more sub slash brat. And then it
Mm,
depends on the person. If they give more dom energy than I do, then I will sub them. But if they give more sub energy as opposed to me, then I feel like I would be more of a dom. So I think I'm a
yeah.
little more versatile, but I'm very curious if I am more of a dom or more of a sub. You know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that would really depend, I guess, on the dynamic that you usually. I mean, that's kind of how it's been for me in the past. So like, I've never really considered myself a dom per se. Honestly, in my opinion, any guy that calling himself a professional dom, there's nothing fetishy about a man acting masculine and aggressive and taking what he wants. That's nature. That's
Yeah,
literally masculinity.
absolutely.
So
But
like when somebody says something like that, all it is, in my opinion, is admission of, oh, I'm a professional asshole who likes to beat women. Like,
um,
okay, congratulations. Now we know who you
yeah.
really.
See, the way that I think about it is yes, all men tend to be naturally dominant, but in general, some men, because of the type of job and career that they hold, for example, if they're more CEOs, then they want some time to actually just submit and let someone else take care of them, in a sense
Yeah,
where they've been strong and they've been dominant for so long that they just want to submit to a beautiful woman and just kind of let her take charge so they can have that time of just peace. Like, all right, finally, I don't have to order an entire boardroom around. I have this beautiful woman ordering me around. So when I go back to work on Monday, for example, I'll be able to go back into being that dominant being, you know? So that's how
yeah,
I it. Like, we at like not always, but we have our kind of gender roles where we see ourselves as more feminine or masculine, more dominant or sub. But at the end of the day, it does have to do with our careers and our lifestyle, how we see ourselves
Yeah, and
to allow ourselves to become the opposite thing for a little bit.
the point I was making was like I've been in relationships that like I was a dom or I was like daddy or even a sadist, but it
Mhm.
wasn't because that's what I was in my nature, but it was because that's what they needed, that's what they wanted. So like a lot of those times, a lot of those occasions, it's not uh especially with submissives, it's very
Mhm.
much that they're giving the dom power, they're giving the dominant power. So it's like there's always a give and that's how all those roles are supposed to be. It's supposed to be there is an equal exchange.
Mhm.
So that just goes back to like, when I see a guy listing himself just like right there, like professional dog.
Mhm.
Here, let's talk. We need to sit down.
I see what you mean. I see what you mean because I know
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
mean like there's a lot of people who I know like who I can understand because I know they're like me they're not they're very like the sweet laid back person but they're in relationships where the group like their people their counterpart I don't want to give a gender to it their counterpart
Mhm.
like wants to be like
Yeah,
told what to do,
exactly.
and
Hmm.
it's not in their nature to do it like
Mhm.
on a day-to-day basis, but they kind of need that like, sit down type energy because, you know, like
That's
it's
what they
just
respond to. That's what they
yeah,
need. That's
yeah.
whatever maybe the trauma that they're helping them get through. I mean, but it's in those circumstances, it's healthy and it's positive and it's
Mhm.
like I've always been a big supporter of the lifestyle. I don't, I'm not a participant of the lifestyle. I have been for many years, but
Okay.
I've always been a supporter of it because
Mhm.
um, at its heart, it is pure and it is positive and it is empowering.
Mhm.
I when I got started in the industry, I was in the lifestyle, and I learned a lot about myself and I helped a lot of people along the way being in those roles and been
Absolutely.
very and so
So
I feel
that so
like
that
there is a primal sense to either being a sub or a dominant, to both BDSM lifestyle, you know? There is a
yeah,
primal sense to it.
there is yeah, it's a very instinctive way about it.
Hmm.
so that
It's sort of
like
like peeling the layers of like social conformity to like really getting into the ego and the psyche.
Exactly.
so to pivot just a little bit. So what do you do for fun? What does Nikki do for fun, like in general?
I do for fun.
Yeah,
Mm.
how do you
All
decompress?
right, all right. So like, you know, people see me online like, oh, Nicky banging all these girls. He's such a rebel. Look at him. He's making all. He's
Absolutely.
creating all this. He's creating all this shit, and he spills the tea every now and then, and he has these funny memes he puts out. Like, I am fucking
I get you. Yeah.
but I feel like that's probably pretty common with a lot of like people who put on that facade. They think they're
Hmm.
exciting and they have this rebellious lifestyle. So like for me, what I do to decompress is I play some video games.
What
Hmm.
game do you play?
I play Halo. I play Halo a lot. I've
Okay.
been playing Halo since Halo came out. The first one. So
See,
and
I was about to say I haven't played Halo since the original Xbox.
oh man,
Like since
yeah.
then, I did
I mean
used to
it's the
play
OG
Halo a lot.
though.
See,
No, I mean.
I can't FPS for the life of me
Mhm.
anymore.
Really.
I like
So you.
not anymore. Like ever since like I could do GoldenEye when I was younger, but
Mhm.
now like
Mm,
all these new
memories.
good graphics, I get so discombobulated. And like I play like League of Legends, I play computer games and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So
I feel like that is a
Maybe
little bit more
sometimes.
2D compared to like Halo and Call of Duty that is more like a full 3D. So I feel like I personally, with the original Xbox, I was able to play more shooter games, but I feel like in a sense the gaming controller has evolved where
Oh
now
yeah.
it's not the same pointing and shooting, you know?
Yeah, well, like, I mean, I've been playing FPSs since fucking Golden Knight too. Like, memories. Like that's like core childhood shit right there. But so I get it. Also, like sometimes updating all these graphics and adding all these pixels and throwing
Mm,
in all of this lighting and color, it can very much be disorienting. So like there's this Disney like Mario Kart stuff, and then there's Mario Kart, and I played both in the same week, and I hate the Disney because it's prettier, but
mhm.
it's so hard to go that speed and like take register everything going on
Yeah.
the screen, as opposed to Mario Kart, which
Mhm,
it's more solid colors, like base colors, and
mhm.
less like bump mapping and extra lighting effects. It's much yeah, like I'll get a headache playing it, and it's really just like they've. It's not always that like sometimes less is more. And
This
I
is
think that's
more.
the problem that the Halo franchise with Halo 5 and oh I hated that Halo. See, I'm a fucking dork. I am such a fucking dork. Um,
Yeah.
like under this rebel facade.
Yeah, like I'm not really a rebel, I'm a nerd. Like that kind of I
Such
feel
a
like that's what you're trying to
well,
say.
well, see, I am a rebel in that, like, the reason I'm even in this industry is for rebellious reasons in a way as it is. I got in this industry as an advocate. I saw some shit was going on that I didn't like, and I got in the industry first as a recruiter. Then I realized, fuck recruiters. Nobody knows recruiters. Nobody talks to recruiters. So
Hmm.
then as a performer, because then at least I know as a performer I can make a face, maybe make an influence. But
Hmm.
more than anything, I can be physically on set, and I know everything's going, accordingly and appropriately.
Yeah.
So, which is why, my next, like my big evolution more recently has been getting more behind the camera, directing
Mhm.
for other companies because, like, I don't need to be a performer to be physically on set. I can also be behind the camera or be an
Yeah.
extra, although, like, I don't want to be an extra. I don't like leaving the house for less than a certain amount of money. So, but, if I'm physically on set,
Mhm.
or at least I know all the different players that are on the different sets. If I'm tapped into all of that, then I can rest assured that no one's being exploited and everyone's acting professional. So,
Absolutely.
but with that in mind, that was rebellious in nature because I came into this industry not like a typical fuckboy wants to get his dick wet. When I first started doing porn, I had less sex than before then.
Hmm.
But I just wanted to try to make a difference where I could, and you know, some people don't like that.
I get it.
But fuck
Um,
'em.
what has been the favorite thing that you've produced so far?
Favorite thing that I produced so far. Well, I had
What do you
my
think was
first.
your best scene that you've produced? Maybe
Geez,
either best, funnest, whatever.
I shot this feature. We had Victoria Vox
Oh, she's
um
on.
come to Florida, and sorry, I got a weird text. It's not important. We had Victoria Vox come to Florida. And we shot this whole feature with her, and it was a taboo feature.
Mhm.
So, and we got this really amazing studio space. It had a jail cell, interrogation room, had a kitchen set, and another really cool set that we used for another little video that was really cool too. Um, and the concept was it was always vague that either she killed my dad, her husband,
What?
Mhm.
and I'm covering for him, and I'm taking the fall,
Mhm.
or I killed him. But we're never explicit on that.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, he's gone, he's dead, and I'm
Hmm.
in jail. And are you gonna help me get out of here, Mom? She's like, oh, I'll do what I can, sweet boy. We need to be together soon. All that jazz.
Yeah.
Uh, and so in chronological order, because we shot out of season, but
Hmm.
the first part was I'm handcuffed to the table in like the room.
Hmm.
My mom come actually first part of the JOY. She does a video uh, for me that she'll put in a case. She's gonna bring to me for the next scene, which is then um, where I'm handcuffed to the table. She comes to talk to
Hmm.
me, and we can't touch hands. We can't touch. So she gives me
Hmm.
a foot job under the table. And that's
Okay.
fucking great.
Yeah.
So the next part was I'm behind the bars,
Hmm.
and she comes to see me. Like, oh my goodness, I can't believe they have you behind bars like this. Let me give you something to help you. So she blows me in between the bars, which is really just the lighting, amazing. Um, and then the following part was now I'm out. So like I got out of jail. They couldn't keep me and have enough evidence or whatever. And so we use the kitchen set. Come home. We go, oh, I'm so glad you're home.
Hmm.
And then that becomes the boy girl aspect. But the way we shot the boy girl was special. Um, and it's a format that I want to replicate as much as possible,
Hmm.
but it's difficult because it really requires the the the, the female to really carry some pretty heavy acting.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, I don't know. I'm maybe it's not that difficult, but I've been working with some tough ones lately.
Some girls make it harder,
Um,
make it seem harder to act than it should be. But I get you.
yeah, yeah. But so it's shot cinematic, so full frame. You see me, you see her come in, you know, turn her around, stroking her. You know, she gets down on her knees, she starts unbuttoning my pants, and then right when it's just about out, we cut,
Mhm.
and then the rest of it is POV. And
Okay.
I no longer talk,
Hmm.
but I don't need to. She carries all of the dialogue rhetorically.
Yeah.
So like I see a lot of POV virtual reality companies for some reason shooting um, boy girl scenes where the girl talks and then waits as if the guy's responding,
Hmm.
and I don't understand because the girl could just carry the entire scenario by rhetorical dialogue. There's no reason that can't be.
Yeah. Well, because I
But
will say that is, I would think that that's one of those things that I do where when it's POV, I kind of make it where I say something, I have this pause, give that person a second to talk back, and then I say the next thing.
mhm.
So, like, I do think that that's one
You
of the
see, when I was really
cool to do, but not by every POV
mhm.
producer. In general, they make it seem like they tell you, like, hey, make it seem like that person's actually in the room, like that person's actually going to talk to you. So
See,
I
I
think it
feel
makes.
personally, I've always felt that there was a better organic flow. Like, think of like JOIs, right? And in the JOI,
Yeah.
you're never waiting for the person to respond. You're already responding sort of for them. So you're like, oh, does that feel good? Like, say it's like a taboo. You're not
Yeah.
really waiting for this either. So like, what are you doing in here? You can't be in here. We're
Mhm.
gonna get in a lot of trouble. Like, there's no need for a pause because there's no need for a response because the entire dialogue and scenario is being carried already by
Mhm.
that act.
I can see
So
that. Yeah.
so like I always imagine like I feel like I don't get it. Like waiting for like taking a pause, I feel like
Mhm.
it breaks the the rhythm when the girl can basically be teasing and seducing the entire time without having to pause and wait for a
Okay.
response.
Yeah, I get that.
So, but and this is basically what we also accomplished. What's that?
I'll try that my next POV.
Give it a try. You might find it to feel more natural and have a better rhythm. So, but that's what we accomplished in this boy girl. So, like, once we switched to POV, I also wanted to make it so that people could either just buy the POV or
Yeah.
buy the full thing with the cinematic.
Mhm.
So, literally, she revisited all of this, the entire scenario as to why we're in this situation by
Mhm.
just giving natural rhetorical dialogue. So, like, without even it being like necessarily repeated, if you watch the whole thing, she's like, "Oh, I'm so glad you're home from jail, sweet boy." You know, like
Mhm.
it's been so difficult being without you. So like literally, she's just growing. I don't have to say anything. So the
Mhm.
fantasy is purely for the viewer,
That's
and
amazing.
it's just so now we basically have just a POV
Mhm.
where everything is covered anyway, and I never have to talk. And then you have the full cinematic POV hybrid where you get all the pieces, whether
Yeah.
you want to modify it. So I was really particularly proud of how we shot that and how we executed that. But like, of
Yeah, it
course,
sounds awesome.
like that
Yeah.
without Victoria carrying with so well with the acting,
Mhm.
it couldn't possibly have been as good. So give so much kudos to her for that. So
Because I've
the
already
whole
heard
thing,
a
awesome.
lot about her acting skills. I feel like now I'm genuinely gonna actually research it and be like, all right, can I do this better? You
Yeah,
know?
honestly, I felt like it was an off day for me because her acting skills were so. Oof. So
I
I
feel
was at that point playing keep. I just keep like trying to keep up with her.
yeah, when you feel like someone's just that much better and that much more natural at something than you,
Jeez,
you're
I
just
didn't
kind
think
of like,
she was that much better. Shit.
"Ooh."
All right.
I mean, to an extent, you still be left a little shell shocked looking at them like, damn, I knew you were good, but I didn't think you were that good. Thank you. I've had moments like
Yeah,
where I've
it
been
was
humbled
good.
a little bit, where I've been thinking
Yes.
like, I've been doing this for a certain amount of time. I know what I'm doing. And then I go on set with someone else and they just humble me. And I'm like, wow, thank you for that
Mm,
experience.
yeah, she was something else. Yeah. So we shot that whole feature. We put it up on VOD, like an Adult Empire. We have it all over our clip stores and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Each individual part and the full thing. I'm just so fucking proud of it. Like, we put
Yeah.
a lot of work into that, and it looks so pretty, all of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. I don't even necessarily expect a huge return on it. I mean, I would like a huge return on it, and yeah, we've been seeing some pretty good sales on it. But you know, when you shoot something that pretty, it's just because you want to shoot
Mm-hmm.
It's like more about the
something.
art than
It's not
anything
because
else.
you
Exactly.
know exactly. It's labor of love.
Mm-hmm.
So. And a lot of times my labors of love, they don't sell well. It was has to be another cookie cutter thing. Like, oh, should we shoot today? I don't know. Brother catch his sister in the shower and they fuck. Okay,
For real. I've
that'll
noticed
sell.
that
Or
sometimes, right? The ones that you pour your entire heart and soul into, and like you put so much work
Mhm.
in, they don't get as many views as the ones, as sometimes like the amateur content where you're not necessarily proud of it. You're just like, well, I was just in the mood. I picked up my camera and started filming.
Hmm.
I feel like I've noticed
Exactly.
that makes more like views than the actual stuff that you really put your heart and soul and dedication into.
Always such a bummer. But it is what it is. But I just came up with the idea of brother catches sister in the shower and tries to fuck me. Okay,
Hmm.
so watch. Like, I didn't shoot that one yet, but like,
Yeah.
watch. Maybe I'll shoot that next week, and it's gonna fucking sell.
Hmm.
Like of course. Uh, it's
Exactly.
fine. Whatever. It's easy. Or like another burping fetish video. Okay, I'll shoot the girl sipping a seltzer. She's gonna burp. Watch, it's gonna sell. It's gonna sell, but it's not gonna be that like perfectly lit, slow seduction, artistically styled,
Exactly.
cool special effects, great acting. Like, oh, I love this. It's amazing. This is gonna be the best thing ever. Like, two fucking cells. What the fuck?
Exactly.
Come on.
I feel like
Come
people
on, do better,
always care
consumers,
about the
do better.
quality, right? People don't always care about the quality. It's like sometimes we can't really tell what exactly it is that's grabbing a hold of them from that scene, but sometimes it is just that rawness of us,
Hmm.
that whole
No, that's always good
sex
stuff
tape
for
vibe
sure.
where you're just like, yo, there's other stuff I put more money and time into than this one, but if you like this one, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
That's how I am. There's been some where I've just like dedicated so much time into filming and editing and bought a specific location for it just to come and find out that that's not necessarily what's doing numbers. Sometimes it's just the regular things where you just turn on your camera and you're like, oh, hey, I'm just at home chilling topless. Like,
And then everybody jumps on. Okay. This
exactly.
was easy. This wasn't
Mhm.
like something I put thought into.
See,
But
Right?
I've always been
it's
in
up to
like
the
if
it's
if
up
I
to
was
the
to watch
consumers to change
porn,
that.
like when I watch porn, I'm always into the storyline. I need to know this and
Mhm.
that. So the story you described, I would love stuff like that. So when
Me too.
So good.
I've never been one to just like it's called Gonzo, like just get into sex. Like I need to know why you're there. Like I need to
Hmm.
know the entire story.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, that's a real. I'm really proud of that feature. So,
Mhm. Because
but
some people
you know,
say that they're so horny and they just want to watch someone fuck, but sometimes they don't even realize what it is that actually catches their eye.
I
And so,
mean, that's the kind of porn that I grew up on. You know, like the
hmm,
low key lighting, like the sort of like intense storyline, slow
hmm,
seduction, and good acting, and like
yeah,
deep, slow music and shit, and like
right,
not always seeing everything, seeing enough. Like that was the stuff I grew up on. That was that
exactly.
was the stuff that like all of a sudden you hear like that jazzy music somewhere else, like fuck, I got a boner. Shit. It's
Hmm.
like fucking classic conditioning porn. Like again, in all the senses.
I feel
That
you.
that that
Sometimes I
jazz
heard
is used
that
to, used to
music come on. I'm like,
overpower
"You put on the porn music."
used to overpower the scene itself. So you couldn't really hear the moaning didn't always match the music.
Oh well, yeah, you want to make sure that music's low, like low volume, just kind of in
See, we
undertone.
have evolved from
Yeah,
there, okay?
So
We as performers in general have learned the music volumes.
so
yeah.
question. So what do you have coming up and everything?
Well, we just had like I just finally got my opportunity to direct a scene for Team Ski.
Okay.
Mhm.
You know, I've shot for a lot of companies, but I've always had a lot of love for Team Ski, and I finally got to see a new MILF scene along with my wife. She helped me. We shot this new MILF, Harlow Wild, and it just came out yesterday, I think,
Okay.
and I am thrilled with it. I am so proud of myself and my wife, our directing team. Um, I'm so proud of Harlow because she was amazing in that scene. She did
Mhm.
such a great job. The interview aspect between her and my wife, it was less of a Q and A and more of a conversation. And like I've looked at other scenes on that site and they're very Q&A. This was
Mhm.
so fucking smooth as butter. She showed so much personality and we captured her first time ever squirting on camera for it. Like, what?
Yeah.
And it was just, it just checked off all the boxes.
Mhm.
And definitely want to encourage people to check that out. Of course, along with the feature that I shot back in, it was past spring. As far as things coming up, let me think. What do I have coming up? Actually,
First for your own content as well.
we are right now releasing some scenes that we shot recently with
Mhm.
Freya Von Doom. Um, very cool scenes. Um, so people should be on the lookout for that. Beyond that, all I got is just, another week coming up, another week, another dollar, another shoot.
Mhm.
So, But there's a lot of things that just came out, a lot of things that are coming up right now. So definitely people should keep an eye out for that stuff, especially the Harlow scene. Fire. So
So, I guess we are towards the end of the show. So go ahead and share all of your social medias and links, please.
for sure. All right. So my Twitter is Nicky Rebel Triple X. That's NickyRebelXXX.
Mhm.
And the content we put out is Aglia X. That's Aglia. It's a weird word, I know, but it's in Greek mythology, so fucking deal with it. A
Mhm.
G L A E A. AGLAEA X.
Okay.
So really good stuff coming out of
Hmm.
there. So both of those are that's not Twitter. That's the name of Twitter now.
Okay.
Both of those are on X, and all the links can be found on either of those. We got our Instagrams too, Nikki X Rebel and Agria X Media.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Perfect. And you guys can find me on iamsarahlease.com. All of my links, my social medias will be on there.
And
Russ?
you can find us at the Burbank Memphis on Instagram, Burbank Memphis on Facebook, Twitter, and Blue Sky. You can find me at RAWSCARR on Twitter, Instagram, and Blue Sky. Thanks for so much for coming on, Nikki. It was a
thanks
pleasure,
so
a
much for having
joy,
me.
For
and
sure.
Same.
and
Fun.
yeah. So we'll see you all next week, everybody. Be well, stay blessed, and be kind to each other.